Trouble in paradise, y'all, for Team Biden. It is getting ugly out there for these folks. So look at this. Everybody is wetting the bed inside of Biden world. That's a quote. Washington Post drops a splashy deep dive on Dems' 2024 panic. So the Washington Post published an in-depth feature Sunday detailing the panic many top Democrats are feeling behind the scenes about President Joe Biden's 2024 prospects. In the piece, authored by Ashley Parker, Tyler Page, and Michael Scherer, Biden's allies are portrayed as having to repeatedly defend the president in private, confronted with many Democratic leaders. Quote, "The unease is evident across the party," the authors wrote. Administration officials, elected officials, major donors, including those who have already given hundreds of thousands of dollars to Biden and his team, top strategists and campaign officials closely allied or working with the re-election effort. And while the report says the White House is trying to downplay the behind-the-scenes hand-wringing as unjustified agita, one unnamed fundraiser painted a very different picture. Quote, "The bad news is that everybody is wetting the bed inside of Biden world. It's really an unhappy confluence of Biden world donors, cocktail party friends saying, can you get him not to run? Which is stupid and absurd if you know Joe Biden." The piece also touches on concern from top Democrats about Biden's messaging. Some Democratic critics believe the Biden campaign needs to do much more polling to figure out how to communicate about the economy, a topic on which many Americans disapprove of the president's job performance. Quote, "The absence of polling explains stuff like Bidenomics," an unnamed national Democratic consultant told the Post, referring to the slogan Biden uses to tout his economic policies. "It's just malpractice." This new report comes amid a spate of bad polling news, including a just published NBC News poll showing Biden trailing former President Donald Trump for the first time ever in that network survey. So look, this is happening everywhere now. Like, all the polls that are coming out are showing Trump up a little bit on Biden, and definitely up in swing states, because Biden is hemorrhaging young voters over Gaza, and he's hemorrhaging Arab American and Muslim American voters, and his lead with Latino voters is literally down to 4%. This is a group he should be winning by 30 percentage points. So absolutely devastating. Now, this is just one piece. Then we get this one. White House struggling on how best to counter Biden's age optics, per Politico report. Could we just reflect on the fact for a second that they're saying it's his age optics? Guys, I got news for you. The issue isn't the optics. The issue is, no, it's his age is actually getting to him and holding him back at this point. A new report delved into efforts by President Joe Biden's allies to diminish concerns about his age, even as it stands to be a major factor in the 2024 election. Politico interviewed over a dozen Biden donors, fundraisers, Democratic strategists, and party officials, all of whom spoke about the difficulty of alleviating voter anxieties about the president's age, even though the president and his team have tried to deflect concerns about his age with humor, and by pointing to his experience, the fact remains that even most Democrats believe Biden is too old for another term in the White House. Politico's report described a DNC fundraising retreat in September where Biden's deputy campaign manager, Quentin Fulks, was asked about how donors should handle the age concerns. Some were satisfied when he suggested focusing on Biden's accomplishments. Still, others were not, and, quote, "Not everyone is sure what the right playbook is for handling the president's most sensitive vulnerability." Guys, that's the thing. There is no playbook. We've never been here. He's the oldest ever. And again, it's showing. So they're trying to get solid, concrete answers, and there are no concrete answers. I mean, look, the best you could do is pump homeboy up with Adderall and hope for the best. But even that at this late date, I don't know if that's going to do the trick. So from the report, even those in Biden's inner circle, including family members, worry about the optics of age. Those close allies believe that Biden is mentally up for the job, but some acknowledge that the president can at times appear frail, according to two people involved in the conversations, but not authorized to speak publicly about internal deliberations. One example, as noted on his recent physical, Biden's gait has stiffened following 2 foot fractures he suffered playing with his dog in late 2020. Oh, I didn't even know about that. Did you guys know that? People close to the president have discussed having him walk shorter distances while on camera. Jesus. They've also advocated, at times, trading in formal shoes for more comfortable ones, both to make his stride seem less stiff, but also to reduce the risk of falls. Oh my God. Jeez, guys, just so everybody understands, when you're talking about, oh my God, he's falling a lot, that is literally I don't want to be an asshole about it, but that's end of life concerns. You know, when your parents get to the point or your grandparents get to the point where they keep falling, That's like, oh my God, they need help around 24/7 in order to do basic things. Oh, man. So, look, they go on to say here that even Biden's donors, they raised concerns about the president's age with DNC officials, but, quote, they just refused to even acknowledge it was a problem. But that's externally. Internally, they're all like, Jesus Christ, what do we do? How do we fix this? Is this fixable? We need a strategy. We need a playbook. We need to have answers. How? And it's like, I'm sorry, man. Ain't no answers, dog. So look at, it really is true that we are rolling the dice on having Trump get a second term. We're talking about a guy who openly said, I want to suspend the Constitution. We're talking about a guy who still denies the 2020 election and still to this day wants to be quote unquote reinstated. I mean, he's all in on authoritarianism. They're floating the idea of invoking the Insurrection Act to quell anti-Trump protests on day one of his presidency. Project 2025 with hundreds of right-wing think tanks getting together to gut the administrative state in every imaginable way. This is what they're rolling out. We're rolling the dice with rank authoritarianism, and the only thing standing between us and that is a guy who's 81 who doesn't know where he is and can't complete a sentence. Now, you guys say to me, well, Kyle, you're being a little too harsh on him. Well, look, you make your own mind up. This is the newest gaffe.
Here's Turkey and its alternative are named Liberty and Bell and were raised in Minnesota. And we are seeing live pictures from the White House as the two turkeys appear to be a little bit reticent to get on the stage there. But they will be pardoned, which is, let's listen in just, if we could, just for a few seconds.
Honeycrisp apples. Not bad, huh? Ice hockey. I sure in hell would like to see them play ice hockey. 1,000 lakes and the Mall in America. Now, just to get here, Liberty and Bell had to beat some tough odds and competition. They had to work hard to show patience and be willing to travel over 1,000 miles. You could say even this harder than getting a ticket to the Renaissance tour or Britney's tour. She's down in, it's kind of warm in Brazil right now.
Look, we all get what he was trying to say. He was trying to say Taylor Swift. And like, I guess he saw the news reports that it's really warm down there, hot down there, and like somebody died at one of the concerts. It was like 130 some odd degrees. But look, man, oh God, the optics are just so out of control now. And his people know that, but they still can't do anything about it. See, this is the first time I ever learned that apparently he's the problem. I really thought that it was the establishment themselves propping him up as their puppet, thinking he's the best option. But apparently everybody's concerned, and he's like, no, I'm going to run again. Like, I got this. And that is like, holy cow, man. That's devastating. Because now, look, who do we have running against him? We have Marianne Williamson, Cenk Uygur if he wins his court case, and Dean Phillips. And it's like, at this point, I think it's kind of clear that any one of the others would do better. And remember, this is coming from a guy, like, I am the guy who was going through Biden's record and pointing out for everybody, hey, there's actually a lot of really good things here that we need to acknowledge. I'm that guy. I'm the guy who went with a fine-tooth comb through the IRA and told you every single provision that's based as hell. And I'm happy I did that because all the information is important. At the same time, you have to acknowledge when homie hasn't lost a step. He's lost 7 steps. And between his age and then you mix it with what's happening in Gaza right now, if you're hemorrhaging young voters and you're hemorrhaging Arab American and Muslim American voters, it really is true. I mean, look, it wasn't that long ago I thought Biden was a 60% favorite to win the White House. Now I think Trump's the 60% favorite to win the White House, and that might even be a little too kind. So, I mean, thank you for beating Trump the first time around, but dog, it's time to step aside. And I think, like, so the confidence that the Democratic establishment puts on in front of the scenes, apparently it is bullshit according to these reports, that they are wetting the beds behind the scene and they're like, oh, this is bad. So if nobody has a plan or a strategy and knows how to fix it, and if nobody is actually confident in his ability, I don't think we could roll the dice. When you're up against Donald Trump, I don't think you could do it. And we saw the polls. A generic Democrat beats Trump. What is it, by 8 points or 13 points or something crazy? Generic Democrat. Generic Democrat. And we know that that's actually true because Democrats have overperformed the polls in every recent election because of Roe versus Wade and Republican extremism. And so, I mean, this is going from a situation where Biden is an underdog. You can make a generic Democrat a favorite, I think, relatively quickly if he just steps aside. So this is where I'm at right now. And really, I think Gaza really put me there, for sure. Gaza really put me there, seeing how he handled this. Now, I don't know if any other Democrat would handle it better, but when you mix Gaza with the fact that he seems to be getting worse by the day, it's time to wrap it up, son. All right, guys, that's the show. Thank you all, as always, for listening on this Thanksgiving Eve. Do me a big favor. Please click like. Please click subscribe. Click that bell icon so you get a notification every single time a video drops. And remember, guys, I've never had a conversation with an advertiser. If you'd like to support this show, it would be deeply appreciated. Patreon link is below. You also have the Crystal Kyle and Friends Substack link below as well. You could tip on YouTube through the thanks button. Just a couple bucks a month goes a very, very long way. You guys have helped build this show from the ground up, and I'm super duper thankful for you. And then also we have, if you want to listen to the show as a podcast, you can check it out on Spotify. And that's all I got for you guys, man. Everybody have a great rest of your day. And I will talk to you on Thanksgiving tomorrow. Peace. Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop. And watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.